Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Friday, April 8. We're going to be looking at a couple of bearish counts and bullish counts and then come up with strategies of how to approach the situation. So this move here, we can look at this here as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave on this high here and have a top in play here. Now currently, as you know, we've been looking at this as an A and a B and a C for wave 4. So wave 4 is finished here. So under this low here, we could go short at that point. Okay, that's one thing. So just moving into the next chart, it's the same sort of slightly different count here. This count here would look at well, an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So even though we've been looking at this as wave 4 here, we can still view this move up here as wave 5, which we're doing, and we'll look to go long here and all the rest of it. But once we get to the top here, we can either come down into wave C here in 5 waves, or coming from this top here, we could also look at it as wave 1 and 2 coming back, but we'll look at that in a moment on this chart. So even with the two bearish counts, one could be this top and one could be this top here. So we know what to do at this top, at this bottom here for a bearish count. All we need to go short is below the current low. So that sort of handles that situation. So what's left for us today is either we push up, and if Friday closes strong, then Monday's likely to follow through on that, and we'll have that 5 waves moving up there. If Friday closes weak, well then we know that we need to be shorting under that particular low here. So moving in further on this here, the count that we've been mostly looking at all week with the intraday is really the top here, and then looking for an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here. It makes quite a nice wave 4. It hasn't overlapped wave 1, and just roughly speaking here, it's come in nicely at the 38.2% retracement level where we wanted it to. So everything being equal, we're also on this nice level here, this nice price point here, the 500. So a nice support on that would also help give credence to the upside. Also the stochastics, your indicators, will also be pulling back and lining up as well. And once we do get this 5 wave move here, or if we get this 5 wave move here, and let's just assume that this is correct with wave 3 here and wave 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So then we would need to look at two things. We can either come all the way down at that point, as I just mentioned, or we'll be coming down in an A and a B and a C wave for wave 2 that probably won't pull back to the 61.8%. It will have good support at that time through the 500 and then push up at that point. From the outside of the shell, we can go long above the B wave here, but we'll probably get a better entry lower here, but it will be higher risk. So we'll need to assess what the stocks are doing in the market, the leading stocks. We know that the banks are weak, and that's why we're looking at this particular move coming down through here. So you can look at the stocks video for that and have a look at BAC, Morgans and Goldman's and whatnot. So we expect those banks to rally in line with this move to the upside here. So they're all the sort of options. So we'll just go over them again. If today, Friday, closes weak, then we'll need to short that low there. Otherwise, we're going to be looking next at the intraday moves in from this 3 to 4 here, and how we can move in and trade 5 waves to the upside here. Obviously, there's going to be lots of resistance up here. This is, well, from 4,000 to 5,000, we look at 1, 2, 3 as minor levels, and then 5, and then 8 here. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, which is 65 and 72, and you can see it captures the market quite nicely within that space. So we could expect this, well, we could also see here where it's been sold off at this point. So we could also expect resistance here from this supply over here anyway. But our main mission at the moment is really just to make a little bit of money in this move to the upside here. Always easier said than done, but let's go in and have a look. And I think that I might be able to just cut to the chase and go to the 100 ticks without going through a whole lot of other things here. Let's just see how much. Okay, so This is the third wave and the fourth wave that we've been looking at. So yesterday we talked about this current low area through here, and I thought that based on this here as a wave 4 and a little wave, we may have a low in place at that point, but we didn't want to go long until we had support onto the 4-5, because we also had a situation where we could have another move lower, and that certainly unfolded like that. And now we're in a good position here because we can see that from this wave 3 up here, we've got a nice A, B and C wave coming down here now for all of this. So our focus is over here on this. So if this is the low here, and this is what we expect after Thursday, isn't it? We expect Thursday afternoon to shore up, and then expect Friday and Monday to be the bullish days with a bit of profit taking on Tuesday, trend resuming on Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday and Thursday become swing days where you see more profit taking and stops being taken out and so on. So the bullish weekly cycle, which is on our website. So in that bullish weekly cycle, we want to see Friday close firm. Strong is good, firm is good. But if Friday closes weak, then obviously we're not going to see Monday follow through, and that would put our bullish count in jeopardy. So what we want to see is, we want to see from this wave 4 here, we want to see Friday close strong up here somewhere, and then Monday to also push up as well, and then Tuesday and Wednesday sort of creeping up a little higher in its own way. So that's where we are at the moment with this. So let's just open up this little can of worms here, and it looks like we've got wave 1 here and 2 here, then some sort of 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. I don't think we have 5 waves up here yet. So yeah, the idea really is that, you know, once we get our first impulse wave here is to, you know, to go long here. But unfortunately I'm in Australia and I'm not going to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll get up at 5, or I'll get up at 3 and do meditation for a couple of hours, and then start work at 5. So yeah, I can't help you all the time on this situation, but what we want to sort of see here is some sort of move here in 5 waves, so to speak, you know, and this 500 here becoming a really nice support, and it's developing that because it's got these guys here, and now it's got this pullback testing it, so it can test it again at this point. So normally with trading, we like to get in the beginning of the trend, obviously we'd like to get a little 1 or 2 positions in this space here, but once you can see the 500 developing a support, is to get a position here and then wait for the number. This is all of group 1 here, so when we're talking about between 500 and 600, we'd go the Fibonacci sequence of numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8. So we can put 8 in there. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, which is 65. Doesn't probably seem much of anything at the moment, and then 72 in there, sort of near enough is good enough for the time being, and that makes up group 2. So it's kind of good in a way because it breaks down the problem of that empty space, and we know certain numbers are stronger than others. So we know 5 is the second strongest number, and we know 8's important, and we know 3's important. So getting a classic trading level pattern on 3 here, the importance of that, and this is what it would look like here. If I can open it up, if it wants to open, there we go. So if this is the top of group 1 coming through here, you'll see the arrival, the reaction. It takes a little while to get support on number 3 because it's a strong number, and then the ABC. So we'll have that first high above the level. If you can't recognize anything else, I mean, this should be wave 3, 4 and 5, the ABC, then up for 1, back for 2. But if you can't count it, then that's fine too. I can't always count it. You know, I'm sometimes left scratching my head, and I've been staring at the screen for probably, well, a long time. Well, I was just hand drawing charts when I first started. The computers weren't even in, so that's how old I am. But my hair's not grey. Oh, thank God. So 3, 4, 5, this top here is what you're looking for. That's your reference point high here. Then you can move down to this one, and then you can move down to this one. This little pattern in here will be a fractal of this larger pattern in here. So this will be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, a little ABC, and you can get in over here on that. But the purpose of all of this is just telling you that the market wants to go high. It's migrating from being resistance to support over here. And it's going through a process of accumulation and distribution, and if you really want to understand this properly, then you need to study the market depth, and then you can really see the heartbeat of the whole situation. But once you understand it, then you don't need to look at the market depth. I used to look at the market depth all the time to watch the order flow and things, but I know how it works now, so I don't need to do that. That's the top of group 1. So once you get support on that, it's so important here, because what it does, or what it's rather telling you, is once it gets support on number 3 here, then it's going to be leaving this number here, the number 500 here at that point. And when it's leaving, when you know it's leaving this, the next thing it's going to go up is to number 5 here, and you're going to get some other type of corrective pattern across this number here, and then the same up here as well. So it's like stepping stones. And if you understand what 1, 2 and 3 means, and 5 means, and 8 means, and the rest of group 2 here means, and this number here, 45, 65 number, the 65 number as I always call it, you know, once if the market's going to fail moving up here, it's going to fail at this number. It might go a little bit higher, but it'll fail to find support on that number. It'll push back to this 5 here. But if it finds support on the 65, then it's going to slowly climb up and get up here onto this, and there will be some type of corrective pattern within all of this space here, but it normally hangs in here, and then it can push up at that point. So every number's important. Everything is important. The devil's not in the details. I'm not that religious, but it would have to be God's in the detail, whoever created the whole shambles, or however, whatever. God knows what we're even doing here on the planet. It's a weird trip. So anyway, we're looking just for 5 waves up here and here. So I'll leave it to you to build into this. So you could buy now if you wanted to, a small amount, and just, you know, keep building through all of this, but just you've got to take this heat coming back. And the thing to do is where you need to leave your stop, once that high comes in here, your stop really needs to stay under this number here always. So it'd have to come back under here somewhere. But even so, wave 2s can come quite deep. You know, they can come down to 80%, not a problem. You know, so it's always better to leave your stop sort of well under here, because you'll get nervous and you'll get too close to the market and it'll come down and slap you. So anyway, it's greed and fear, all of those sorts of things come into play. Okay, so that's enough waffling about that all. So let's just cruise on and look at the other ones. So the NASDAQ here, the A, the B, and the C wave here as well. Now this sort of bothers me, because this is where I've been looking at markets like Tesla and Meta, because from the top they don't have 3 waves down, they have 5 waves down from the top. So this is why this has jumped out of group 2 here, because normally it would stay within group 2. So there is a sort of bear in the air, so to speak. But all that said and done, you can see here that we've probably got 1 here and 2 here, or not sure what that little bit is there, but the good thing here, you've also got 500 here as well. So, you know, you can do a few things here. If you want to go extra safe, then you can always just take the top here and the low, wherever that may be, find the 61.8%, let the market come up to that, it will pull back, and then look for the B wave and go in it that way, or look for the 61.8% to be the high at that point. It's a bit of a weird thing, this, but it'd probably have to, I mean, it just looks like it's 5 waves to there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. Yeah, it's like wave 1, 2 to here. So I'm not sure about this little guy in here. I know it's obviously part of bullishness here, but it's not really part of this move here. So it's still building in some way or another. let's just have a look at the triple Q. So with the triple Qs, the triple Q is a bit different, and the NASDAQ is a bit different from the S&P, because from the low here we've been counting 5 waves up. So we've got to call this wave A or wave 1. So the NASDAQ is the one that really gives me the idea that the market is bullish, where the S&P has got a weak spot in it, because the NASDAQ and the triple Q can be counted up here as 5 waves. And I've had it as blue wave 1, but it's probably intermediate wave 1 rather than minute wave 1, the same down here, but it doesn't really matter at this point in time. So yeah, the other thing that you can look at here too is from this high, the previous high to here, all of these 23.6, 38.2, which you can see it coming in here, the 50, the 61, the 78.6, square root of 61.8, those all will have resistance points there. So you can be aware of those before you get there, and you can also take it from the top here. But I always find that the last wave is the most important wave, because it's sort of fresher in a way, you know, it's the memory of it's all there. So platform's just stalling at the moment, sort of resetting. Okay, it's finished chucking its wobbly. So yeah, just look for strength on Friday, and the Dow Jones here. So I've got this as an A and a B and a C. This has got 5 waves here, so you could look at this as an A and a B and a C, and it's probably better counted as a WXY, but it doesn't really matter. I prefer to keep things as simple as possible rather than getting into a whole lot of other stuff. But Elliott Wave's hard enough as it is, so I don't want to sort of make it more complicated than I need to. But yeah, I do take shortcuts when labeling things, but anyway, an ABC down here. So we talked about going long here a while ago, so I've just left that there. This is probably a better case here for this, so this will be something like this. It probably won't pull back in too much, you know, and it'll be sort of up like that. But this next B wave is the one to sort of add to on this one here. 5, this is another place you expect a correction across a classic trading levels pattern across there, and also look to add at that point there as well. Obviously there will also be things like, can that go down there? Not quite, so we'll have to take it from the other high here. These sorts of, if you look for all of these, they'll all sort of play out, and but also put the levels in here as well. So from here, number 8 here, so you'll have the 500 in here, then the 800 and group 2. So group 2 is pegging all that down at the moment, and you won't notice it until you put the levels in here, you know. So you got the 8 there, and then you've got the 34,650, which is the lower end of group 2. I can't really get it on the nose, got it. And then the 72 in here, which would be 720. So that's see, it hasn't found support in group 2 yet. This is on 5,000 ticks, so you'd have to go into a smaller tick chart to really see that there. But yeah, if you put the levels in, and you'll see them, you know, you'll see the price working around it, and you'll learn, you know, good traders say everything you need to know is in the price, you know, but what the hell does that mean, you know? Well, this is the start. The levels, the trading levels here, bring your attention to the price and get you started. The Russell, so we've been looking at the Russells a little bit, not quite like the NASDAQ, but we're looking at it as one here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. So we had a couple of target areas here. They are where they are, but it's really about the major trading level here too. So once again here, I mean, it looks like 1 and 2 in here, but anyway, we talked about going along here. This is not 5 waves up here yet. I mean, it's probably 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 to here, or 2 to here. It's just this extra move in here that I haven't calculated for yet. I'm not sure, unless it's just to here to here. Anyway, what you can do here, 1 is the strongest number. So in this case, we got 10 here. Right, so between 2000 and 10 here, you'll have you'll have smaller levels. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, and then you got to 1, and then you've got to 2 here, then you've got to 3, which is the top of group 1. So if you get a classic trading levels pattern in here, this might come down here a little bit further, whatever, but if you get this here, that all you need to do is look at the first high above the level, and then if you can find a second high above the level, well then great, you know. It's a bit anyway, there's lots of examples, I won't bore you to death, but that's the next one. And then you want to build on top of here as well, and on top of here, because this is the beginning of the trend, you know. And you know, even if you trade, you know, 10 contracts, well then you can just, you know, move in with 2, 2, 2, 2 or something, you know, or 3. It's good to move in with at least 3 contracts, because with 3 contracts you can take profit on one of them. You know, you've got a little bit more flexibility with your tactics in that regard. Where if you just limit yourself to 1 contract because you're practicing, well then it's kind of like shoveling the whole lot in at once, so to speak. It could be 1 or it could be 100 or 10, doesn't really matter, it's all the same sort of thing. So yeah, that's the Russell, and that's it, I think. This is just the banks here. So alrighty, thanks for tuning in, enjoy the weekend, cheers.